Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dreams Unlimited Travel Podcast. My name is John Magi, and I'll be your host. And in this episode, we're going to talk about Kevin and my favorite ship, which is the Celebrity Equinox. We sailed twice on that particular ship this year, 2024, and we just got off our last cruise about 2 months ago. So we're going to talk a little bit about
2023,
what did I say?
2024
Oh, yeah, 2023.
hasn't happened yet.
Sorry. That when you're in the travel industry, things seem to be the years seem to run together. So yeah, we had two sailings in 2023. Just got off a couple months ago, but there's also some exciting news about the Equinox that we want to share. Always exciting for us. I don't know if anybody else cares. And then we'll talk a little bit about that with our guests. And I'm joined this week by our panel of experts. Dreams Unlimited travel agent and celebrity expert Tracy Heinrichs,
Hi, everyone.
client services manager for Dreams Unlimited Travel and celebrity Equinox expert Kevin Close,
Hi, everyone.
and our producer and all around good guy, Craig Williams.
Oh, hoy, hoy.
Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. So, I've said this more than once. I don't know exactly what it is. We've been on many, many cruise lines and many, many ships. The Celebrity Equinox is one of our favorites for sure. And Kevin and I have been on it multiple times. It is sailing out of Fort Lauderdale at the moment. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. So, it's about a 4-hour drive for us to get to that port. So that kind of shows you how much we like it. We could sail on anything out of Port Canaveral and be there in less than an hour. We're willing to drive all the way down to Fort Lauderdale. So our latest sailing was September of 2023. It's just for us, it feels so easy, and it feels so much like home getting on and off this ship. Kevin and I travel in a suite. We like to travel in a concierge suite. So our experience will probably vary from some people's. So take that into consideration. But what we love about it, or maybe I'm speaking for Kevin, I don't know that I am or not, is that for us, it's truly an all-inclusive vacation, right? We get on the ship, we don't worry about anything because of the accommodations we choose and because of what Celebrity offers. We can eat in any specialty dining room we want. Drinks are included. They have special seating for us at the shows. So it's really, really a great way for us to travel. And we love this ship. For us, it feels like it's the right size. Like you start to get into the mega liners and it's almost a little too big. You can't see everything. You can't do everything, but this is the right size. I realize that this is not a cruise for all people, especially if you have young kids. Tends to skew a little bit older, and that's probably another reason why we like it. There's no mega slides, and there's no cannonball contests or anything like that. It seems just like a more relaxed cruise. Kevin, anything you want to add to my summation of the cruise? I don't know how you could add anything else. It was perfect.
People talk about going to all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean and how much they enjoy the fact that everything's included. When we book our stateroom on Celebrity, everything is included. So if you want gelato, it's included. That you don't take your card out to pay for additional items because it's all included in the way we book. And even though we're booking a suite, it is the same price or less than other cruise lines charge for a balcony stateroom. So I just find what's offered to be to my taste. I like the ease of it. And people talk about other cruise lines having exceptional service. I think the service on Celebrity is perfect.
I agree. I love it. You mentioned on another show, Tracy, that it's Chris's favorite ship. I know you guys have been on it. What are your thoughts on the Equinox?
Same thing. I mean, I really like it as well. I'm always about kind of what's new, so I enjoy the Edge class as well. But the Equinox does feel like home. I don't remember years ago, a few of us used to talk about, when the Oasis class ships came out with Royal Caribbean, how we liked the freedom of the seas. The Equinox has a little bit of that feel for me as far as being the right size. Things just make sense on that ship. We like the lounges. I think Chris would tell you it's probably, like you said, his favorite ship out of all the ones that he's been on. Um, and it's just big enough. It's just the right size, and we enjoy the service. And we have sailed um, not in a suite. And I find Celebrity is one of the cruise lines remaining where there's not a really big difference in experience between suite and non-suite. Obviously, suites, depending on the ship, will have some different um, things available to them, but I don't feel like I'm getting a lesser, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, lesser class cruise by not booking a suite. Whereas I think some cruise lines are going to a two-tier system almost between suite and non-suite guests. I don't get that feeling on Celebrity. We can still enjoy the main dining room, where we find for the most part the food is still, pretty good. Whereas on another line, we don't even do main dining room anymore. And I know I keep harping on this, but the buffet on Celebrity
Mm.
is head and shoulders above any other we have experienced on any of the ships we've been on.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that.
So as
It's good.
as sweet guests, we get. I apologize. As sweet guests, we get to enjoy a special restaurant called Lumine. And as I mentioned, we get access to all of the specialty dining. We just have to make reservations for them. However, on more than one occasion, Kevin and I have been to the buffet and really enjoyed it. Tremendous selection at the buffet, right? So it's always something that's sort of a carving station, and then there's old favorites. There's burgers and pizza and all that stuff. And in the evenings, it's also the stuff being served in the dining rooms for the most part. The major dishes that are in the dining rooms you can also get at the buffet. So yeah, it's a great alternative. What I found this cruise that I really enjoyed was I didn't realize how late the buffet was open. So we would be in the casino, believe it or not,
What?
and after gambling, you kind of like, I'm hungry, but I'm not starving, and I don't know what I want. We popped up to the buffet. We got a salad, got a burger. I mean, it was really really great. And then the other thing I want to mention too is I talked about a suite dining room called Lumine. And in addition to ordering off of that menu, you can order off of the regular menu from the other dining rooms. And on two evenings, I believe, Kevin, we ordered off of that menu and thought it was fantastic. I had escargot and French onion soup, and I don't know what else. I think I had a
But you
steak
can go
that
back
night.
and forth and mix and match also.
Yeah.
The only thing, Lumine has a special menu, and it's specifically for guests and suites. Um, but you can order off the main dining room menu
But
and
weren't you
mix and
impressed
match.
weren't you impressed with the quality of the food that we got? Because sometimes you think, oh, main dining room, it's not going to be that great. I thought the food was really great.
I've
Yeah, I do too.
never, I've never had a meal on a celebrity ship that I had any complaints about. I mean, I've ordered things that ended up not liking, but when you're on a cruise ship, all you have to say is, "Can I also get that?" And you can kind of switch course or switch lanes. But I've never had anything that I thought was poorly prepared or not up to the quality I was expecting.
So going back to the buffet, my favorite area, one more time. Have you guys done the afternoon tea?
Um, we did
Yes,
not. Did we do it? I don't remember. Tell me
yes,
about it.
They do it at four
it's
o'clock
in
in
the
the
afternoon.
afternoon, and they put out like they make fresh baked scones. They'll usually have some kind of a fruit to put on them. They'll have little jars of clotted cream sometimes. They'll make little fancy crustless sandwiches and have other little treats and desserts. It
No,
is
we haven't
like
done this.
It is the highlight of my cruise. We usually do it every day at 4, and it's amazing.
We haven't done that, but there have been times when you go to the buffet and it's like, oh, they're gonna have like a special just taco thing out where it's
Mhm,
like make your own or
mhm.
nachos or something like that. So we've experienced that on the Equinox. My favorite place is the cafe, is the coffee shop,
Yes. Mhm,
kind of right in the middle of everything. So it's a little bit,
mhm.
people watch, great place to people watch, but it's also a great place to sort of grab a table in a corner and just hang out. Every single day, probably more than once, we go and we get a specialty coffee. And again, being sweet guests, that's all inclusive. So it just makes for a great experience. You sit down with a biscotti and a mocha or whatever your favorite drink is, and it's really, really a cool experience. I feel like on this ship, I relax more. I don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm running from pillar to post as much as some other cruise ships we're on.
My favorite place on the Equinox is called Sushi on 5. And it is a sushi restaurant. And I think we make up the price of the cruise
Too.
in sushi.
They
I
would
kind
ask
of
us to
feel like
leave if they could. They would halfway through the cruise. They would probably like to just say, "Can you guys just get off at St. Thomas
I think
and
they
not
should
come with us?"
probably come up with an extra charge just for you and I.
I think so.
However, as John said, we've done 2 Equinox cruises this year, and we did one in May with some friends of ours, and we just happened to be walking by Sushi on 5, and it was decorated very differently. The servers all had on different costumes, and we stopped and asked what was going on. And they have instituted a policy where one night they have an Indian night where they serve Indian food. And we were all in. So we went, and while they serve you a menu, I apologize, I don't remember the word for it, but they bring each guest out a round tray with all of the different things on the menu. So you see what the menu is, but you get to try all of them. And if you want more of any of it, they replace it. When we got on the second cruise in September, my first stop was Sushi on 5. I need to know what night Indian night is. And we did that again. So I can't promise that that's going to move. It's going to be there going forward. I believe this was because there was an Indian chef on board, and we thought it was spectacular.
We agreed
So
it was the best meal we had on the ship, and we had some really great meals, but that was the highlight of the cruise for us. Now, I am going to give a little bit of a negative here. I am not a fan of the entertainment on this ship. First of all, there's no Broadway style show on this particular ship. So, at least on the other ships, that's something that we would go and see. But on more than one occasion, we've popped our head into the regular shows that they're doing, and they're just not for us. They're not. I don't think they're high quality. But we're not show people, right? It's not like we go on a cruise to go to every show. We have other
I
stuff we
just want
like
to
to do
jump in
instead.
here. What Celebrity does is at off times from their shows, they will highlight one of their entertainment cast members. And I've got to tell you, we went to a show one time where one of the people who was in the cast of the regular shows imitated Tina Turner. And she was spectacular.
Yeah, but that wasn't available on our last sailing. I was disappointed by that. That was
There
kind
was
of
a
the highlight.
different person who did it. And while you were in
Oh,
the casino, I went and checked her out, and she was really good too.
oh, all right. You weren't in the casino with me every second of every day.
No,
Oh, all right.
they have stores and shows and a bed where I can take a nap. So
Absolutely true, for sure. So one of the things we want to point out to folks is that this particular ship was meant to go in for a refurb, actually just before COVID, and it never made it for its refurbishment. So they are planning a refurb for, I believe, soon, right, Tracy? Do you know what the dates are for the refurbishment for this
I
ship?
don't have the exact date, but I know it's sailing. It has a couple sailings in December of 23. So I think it's going to be sometime late this year, early next. And it'll be out of commission until, from what I can tell, early December of 24. But good
Almost
news
a
at
year.
that point. What's the good news, John, at that point when it comes back?
Big excitement. Kevin and I are so excited about this. It's going to be sailing out of Port Canaveral. So that means closer for us for sure, but anybody doing a Walt Disney World or Universal stay or just, flying into the Orlando area, a lot easier of a trip to get to Port Canaveral and to sail out of Port Canaveral. So we're really excited about that. Makes it super easy for us.
I
I
agree.
also think, yeah, and I think putting it into Port Canaveral, doing 7 night itineraries, I wonder if part of this refurb is going to be enhancing the kids club areas even more and going after some of that family business. I know at different times celebrities tried to get into that business with varying levels of success. So I'm interested to see if they're going to look a little bit more as to what they can offer for families.
So one of the things
Celebrity
that they
does
had,
have,
go ahead, Kevin,
I
I'm sorry.
apologize. Celebrity does have a kids club. However, it's not, you would never compare it to Disney Cruise Line. But they do have,
No.
we've seen kids on there.
Hmm. Yep, they have them.
They all had
Serving,
on,
serving drinks.
they all had on little
Yeah,
tuxes and top hats.
good.
Go.
So going, what you were saying,
Oh.
Tracy, is I was reading through the rehab of what they're going to do, and they're launching. I'm going to read this word for word. An exciting new partnership with the Philip and Patricia Frost Museum of Science, featuring STEM-focused activities and unique first at sea programming offered as part of the popular Camp at Sea for young cruisers. So I think that's pretty cool if your kids are into the sciences.
I think it is, and I think they were doing something like that. I was on an Equinox sailing, and one of the kids' activities, I went to talk to the kids club people at the beginning during the open house, and one of the things they were doing that cruise is that the kids could sign out a GoPro, and during the cruise they would film their cruise and fun things that they were doing, and part of the activity was also learning how to edit that film and create a little movie where at the end they had a finished product. So
Oh
while I
wow!
think Celebrity is not going after the typical kids club, recognizing that kids are different, kids, some kids prefer different things, and not all kids want the same thing. Hearing that they're going into the STEMs or and the sciences really makes sense as to what I saw on that particular sailing.
Well, I think it kind of gives kids credit that they all don't want to just play on a screen or color.
Right?
That they
Yep.
offering something that's a little more involved and a little more technical. Kids are much more advanced than I was at that age. So I think that's awesome.
I do too. I think it's really great. Part of the rehab that you can expect is that it's going to be completely redone inside. Staterooms will be redone, common areas, um, refresh staterooms and suites with stunning enhancements featuring Exhale bedding collection with luxurious king size cashmere mattresses. Doesn't that sound
Mm.
lovely? Doesn't that sound just indulgent? So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to with the redesign of the ship. Um, the good news is that the main stuff that we love is going to stay in place. La Petite Chef will continue, and a lot of the specialty restaurants, but there'll be a bigger expansion of the suite amenities. One of the things about this ship is the um, the suite lounge is kind of small. It's perfectly suited for Kevin and I. We don't really use it that much, but it's a little bit on the small side, and I know people complain about that. Anything else we want to talk about the Equinox?
I
Oh,
think we
Kevin is
should
going
book
to.
it.
I think we should. There's going to be a John Hardy boutique.
Oh, well, that sells it right there.
It's worth it. It's worth the money then.
It's worth the money then. And I will say this in all fairness, we were pricing out future cruises on our last cruise, and just in general, the cruise industry prices are going up everywhere. So, some of these are a little bit hard to take when you look at the price of some of these sailings. So, you got to be a little bit flexible in when you want to go and all of that stuff. But keep an eye out. I was reading an article that said that they think that cruises are starting to outprice themselves, that they're getting to a point in the market where we might see a rebound in prices. So I'm hoping that does happen.
I agree with that, and especially as they're building more ships and they have more rooms to fill. Right now, we're in the heyday of cruising. I think cruising has made a big comeback post COVID, and ships are filling, and we're seeing that reflected in the pricing. But I think we're just about at the peak of what people are willing to accept, and we're going to see it balance itself back out.
We talked about this in the break between recordings here. You said Celebrity has a new ship. We know Royal
Mm-hmm.
is about to launch two new ships.
Yep.
Yep. I mean,
Yep.
they're aggressively, out there. Disney's out there with new ships. So there's going to be a point where there's going to be so much inventory for them to fill. I think we might see some rebound in pricing. I hope so. Because like I said,
Yeah.
we looked at a couple of these cruises and it was like, holy smokes. That's like a
Yeah.
You could
car.
have bought a car. Did we say the
Just
same thing?
we did. So the exact same thing. Could have bought a car. So if you get a chance, reach out to Tracy for booking into perhaps Royal Celebrity Cruise Lines, Equinox of the Seas when it sails out of Port Canaveral. Also, in addition, is Royal Caribbean's Icon going to be out of Port Canaveral, or is that going to be out of Fort Lauderdale?
Oh, you caught me. I think
Yeah.
Icon is, I don't remember for sure. I think it's coming out of Port Canaveral. I know Utopia, I think, is also going to be going out of Port Canaveral, but it's doing Bahamas. Yeah, you caught me. Sorry, I was
Sorry
prepared for a
about that.
celebrity show, not a Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Sorry. But just goes to show how many more ships are coming to Port
Oh, it's so
Canaveral
many. Yeah,
and Fort Lauderdale. Disney's building their own
yeah.
terminal in Fort Lauderdale. So this is they're investing a lot of money in cruises going forward. All right, yeah, exciting. Let's get on our Royal Caribbean. Let's get on a Equinox sailing there, Kevin. We got to get on that.
You're running out
I'm
of
ready.
time. Hurry up.
I can
Hurry
be
up.
packed in 20 minutes.
All right, reach out to Tracy. Tracy H.
Yeah, emails tracyh@dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
She'll help you out. Thank you guys very much for participating in this conversation and helping me talk about one of my favorite ships, the Celebrity Equinox. Thank you, everybody at home, for listening and watching. We hope you have a great week and we hope you have a great vacation.